The first time I covered YouMind, I mainly saw it as a better NotebookLM alternative for creators, and I still think that's true today. But it's been a few months since I made that video, and I have to show you the latest YouMind updates because they've taken it a step further. In YouMind, you can take any combination of sources, feed them into AI agents that will actually create things for you. Scripts, slide deck presentations, videos with voice generation. And there's one feature in particular that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. It pulls in your existing posts from X or Reddit, analyzes how you write, and then generates content that actually matches your voice. Not some generic AI slop or just normal outputs from AI, actually your voice. I'll show you how all this works in a minute. If you're trying to actually use AI agents in your real workflows, not just test silly demos, then YouMind is by far one of the easiest ways to get started. So first in this video, we're going to walk through the interface and I'll show you how it basically works. Then we'll get into the new features that have come out. And then I'm going to build two different things from scratch so you can see the full workflows in action at the end. YouMind did partner with me on this video. There's a link in the description below if you want to try it out. That genuinely helps support this channel, guys, so please do that. Regardless, these are my own thoughts on YouMind in this video. So let's just go ahead and get into it and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is YouMind. The simplest way to understand this is that it's a creator workspace where your source materials, your AI tools, and your finished outputs all live in one place. If I open up one of my old boards here, you can see we've got this sort of 3-panel thing going on, very similar to NotebookLM. So in the middle here, I've got my created craft is what they call it, but it's just the finished product that I'm going to publish, right? So this is a newsletter article. We've got the chat on the side here where I can tell the agent what I want to do to the article. And then on the left side, we've got things like our past chats, we've got our source material, and then we can select the different crafts that we're displaying, and then we've got the ability to publish. So pretty simple interface here, but this is what they call their board basically, and it can store lots of different things. We're able to change this blue background to whatever we want here. We can change the style, or we can just keep it really simple if we want. And this works like a Notion doc basically. You can type whatever you want. You can do the slash symbol and then add different elements here. But they also have this cool thing called checks. You can run checks for content review. So I can select content here and it's going to check the document for these things, and then I can run it. And then it's going to pull that up inside the agent here. Now, while that's happening, let me show you how the source material looks here. So if I click on one of these things, this is a YouTube video I've saved from YouTube into this board. And we're able to watch that video inside the screen. And what we can do is we can go through and we can pick things. So I can click this button here and it's going to take that moment out of the video and save it for reference later. We can create a chapter view here and we can see the video description. So basically everything you need from YouTube, all right here inside your board. You can also pull in articles here as well. And then you can select text and you can save that as a pick as well. It's basically just a highlight, right? Whether it's a video or an article, you're highlighting things from the content that you want to save and use. So this is cool, but how do I get the source content in here? Well, there's two ways. So either the agent can go and find these sources automatically, or I can add them manually. I'll show you the agent in a minute, but first let me show you how to do it manually. So here's a YouTube video that I was watching earlier, and let's say I want to save it to YouMind. I can go up to the extension here that I have pinned, and you can see here we have the transcript from this video, except YouMind has organized it very beautifully here for me to explore. I can actually click and it'll take me to that moment in the video. I can even chat here with this video and I can pick moments as well. So you've got this full control going on here. But now all I have to do to save it is just click on save, and then it's going to save to this board, which is the one we were looking at a minute ago. Now it's been saved here. And then if I go back to our board, you can see it's right here, ready to go. You can also do this now from their mobile app. Everything is synced, so you have it all working together no matter where you are. So now we've been collecting things, and I showed you the basic document editor, but this is just the beginning of what's going on here. And that's basically what I covered in the last video. Now, everything else that I'm about to show you is where things get crazy. If I click on new board right here, you see this screen that basically looks like ChatGPT, right? But it's an AI agent that has everything from YouMind built into it. In a minute, we're going to create something, but before we do that, I want to show you the addition of skills. So skills are something you might see inside Claude or ChatGPT, but YouMind has them too, and it allows you to basically save prompts and complex workflows into these pre-built skills, and then you can basically power up your agent by selecting these, and it has all of the context it needs from that skill. If I click on Manage here, you can see that we've got the ones I've created, like Joseph's writing style, but then you also have this full library, and these are skills that have been created by other people or by the YouMind team, and you can save any of these to your account and then use them to create things, whether that's images, blogs, newsletters. One of the things that I find really interesting about these skills is that it's not just one text field. You can actually have your main instructions here, and then you can have a second step and a third step. So each of these are like prompts in a workflow, but then they're separated into these steps, which I think is really a cool idea. And you can see here, I'm actually able to select a different model for each step. So maybe this step uses Claude to create a prompt, and then this step takes that prompt text and generates it into a nano banana image, right? Being able to use different models across one skill is a really cool idea that I haven't seen yet. So that's cool. For me, I just have a custom writing skill that I use, and this gives the full context to the AI model, whichever one I'm using, about how I want to write and speak. I think I'm going to build one later in this video that generates thumbnails for me, so you'll see that in a minute. So before we actually create something, I do want to show you one more feature. So let's say you don't know your writing style yet, but you have a lot of tweets. You can actually just go over to Twitter, and you can click on this Twitter bookmark sync button, and it opens up this view where you can sync your X account. So I could actually sync my posts here, not just my bookmarks, and then I could save those to a board where it has everything that I've been saying. And then I can just connect my create newsletter skill here, and I can create an automation that every week looks at my tweets and turns those into a newsletter for me in my style, because it's going to have my tweet style. This thing just runs for you on autopilot. You can also sync Reddit if you're a Reddit user, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, there's so many different features built into this Chrome extension, really powerful stuff in here, so make sure you use that. Okay, so I've been yapping for a while now. Let's go ahead and get into actually creating something. So I'm just going to paste in a starter prompt here. This is just one that I created earlier with Claude, and we're just going to use that. For this, I'm not going to use any skills. I'm just going to let it figure out what to do on its own, and it's going to be pretty cool. But we've got agent selected, and that's basically all we need. I'm going to send this off. So you can see the agent here is getting to work. It's created a plan for how it's going to create our example here, which is going to be a video using some image slides, and it's going to just generate the whole thing for us. In a minute, I'll show you my workflow that uses my own style. But first, I just wanted to quickly show you like the full capabilities of this tool. One of the interesting things here is I can see what sources it looked through when it was doing the research, and then I can just save them here if I want to have them for later. So it'll actually pull these into the source view over here. So now those sources that I wanted to save are over here in case I want to use them in another generation later. I just love that it's able to pull all this stuff in for me instead of me having to spend a long time scrolling through the internet, getting distracted on everything. This allows me to just do very focused work very efficiently. Okay, so it's generated all of the images for us. You can see how good these look, guys. We're able to open them up here and check them all out. They have a consistent theme and the text looks great. You have some controls here, so you can ask AI and you can extract text and all that stuff. But now the AI agent is going and composing the final video. It's done the script and it's done the visual slides. And now it just has to create the audio and turn it into a video. Now the audio is done generating.
Which brings us back to Peter Steinberger.
And you can see we've got a voice here. Pretty clean if you ask me, and now it's going to use this to actually create the video. Okay, so it's done, and if I go over to our crafts here and click on it, you can see here we have our presentation. It's 9 minutes long. I can even go here and generate some background music if I want to. So I'm just going to click here and we can watch this play.
In January 2026, something unusual happened on GitHub. A single open source project gained 20,000 stars in 24 hours. It triggered a Mac Mini shortage across the United States.
So we've got the subtitles here, and we're able to click up here and change the style of those. So if I could do a white background with dark text, and I could remove the stroke. So we have a full scripted presentation here with visuals ready to go in just a few minutes. Now, is this something that's going to do super well on YouTube? No, of course not. Like if I was making a video for myself, I'd be in the video and I would make the visuals faster and more engaging, right? But if you're just looking to make a quick presentation that explains something and makes it a little bit better, then this is such a great way to do it if you ask me. Cool thing is we can actually go over to publish and publish this online. So we've got this board that's been published. People can even subscribe to it, which is pretty cool. But then we can go to the crafts that we've made public and you can share them with this link.
In January?
How cool is that? I just think that's pretty sweet. I didn't have to upload or download or do anything like that. It was just ready to go with a public link. Okay, so we've made a video, we shared it. I actually want to show you one more thing before we proceed with my own style. So if I go down to skills here, I can go to build a web page and I can use Gemini 3.1 Pro, which is great for this. And I can say something like, build a web page for this that presents the story of OpenClaw and how it came to be. And this is a really simple prompt, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to send that off. And it's actually going to take what we've done here and build a web page. So you can see it went and read our craft over here, our presentation, and now it's running the skill to build the web page. If you were ever putting together a collection of resources or creating some sort of project online that you were sharing with people, sometimes that can get pretty boring. And sometimes if you're doing it in a tool like Notion, it can feel pretty restricted. Now you can just use AI to create any kind of website you can imagine with this information and share that instead. Way more engaging than a Notion or a Google Doc. And you're just doing it from simple prompts. While this is generating, I also want to mention that YouMind has its own Claw Hub skill. So you can actually connect this up if you're like a OpenClaw AI power user. You can connect OpenClaw to your YouMind account and it can go and just do all this for you also. I think that's pretty crazy. And I know that's not for everybody, but if you're someone that's deep in AI and you want to connect it to OpenClaw, you absolutely can. That skill would also work with Codex and Cloud Code and stuff. That's one of those things that companies are just now starting to roll out. So YouMind is on the cutting edge. Okay, so now let's go look at this website. So if I click here, we can see it's another craft that's been made. And here we go. So it's got our full visual website here, completely custom coded for us. Again, if I go back to our published board, I can go over to the website it made and it'll open it up for us and I can share this with anyone. I mean, it's honestly so easy, convenient, everything, right? Just really great. Okay, so that was the quick version where things just get done for you. Now, for me personally, I write scripts, I structure YouTube videos, and then I'm actually the one on camera. I'm the one reading the script or using the script as an outline for whatever I'm creating, or I'm the one writing the newsletter and publishing it under my own name. So I don't need a voiceover. I just need something to help me create my work. I want it to have my voice, my typical structure, my own style, right? So I've gone ahead and created a prompt here. This is a lot more detailed, right? Because this is how I actually work. I made this prompt with Claude and I'm using it here with this agent to actually make my own style video. So it's got my instructions here and then I'm able to select my writing style as the skill. So now the agent should have everything that it needs to actually create me a great video about OpenClaw like we just did, but in my style, and it's just a script. We're not actually going and generating any videos. It is going to generate some nano banana slides for me. So you can see it ran the Joseph's writing style V2 skill here. Again, for convenience, it's going through and doing its own research. You can see it found sources here on its own. If I was really doing something for real, I might go through and handpick a handful of different sources that I want to talk about. That'll help me control the final script a lot better. And that's when I would use the Chrome extension like we talked about earlier. But this time the agent did the research for me, gathered all the sources, and now it's writing the script here. It looks like it's already finished the script. So this is a very different style from the documentary style video that we made in the first example. This is actually talking from the from my point of view, saying like, I think this, I found that this, right? It's everything in my opinion. It's less formal and it's more like what you would see from a video of mine. Okay, so it's made the images for these. I like some of these and I don't like some of them. I think I would change the prompt a little bit, but regardless, it did make us some visuals that can accompany the script. So we've got visuals, but what's really important to me is the actual script writing. So the visuals are done, but let's go to the script it created. So if I go over to our crafts, you can see we've got our script here in the same sort of document editor that we saw at the beginning of the video. Now we don't actually need the cover, and we can remove the style background if you want. This is more how I would typically work. So we've got a hook at the beginning. Here's the problem with AI agents. It's all connected to the slides that we just generated as well. And it's a full breakdown in my speaking style. I can drag these around just like you might in Notion. I can even select parts, click on chat, and have the agent go ahead and make changes to the text for me, right? Now, I would go through this and add my own examples, adjust phrasing a little bit, whatever. I would review the full thing. That's kind of my responsibility as a human. But as a first draft with full research done and everything, this saves me like 3 to 4 hours of time easily, maybe even longer if I'm writing the full script myself. And if I was writing this full script myself, that would take me like a whole day or whatever. So we've saved a ton of time just with this. So we've got our script here, and now I want to make a YouTube thumbnail because every video needs a thumbnail, right? So I've written a prompt here that's going to generate a thumbnail for us, and I've added a headshot image of myself and then the OpenClaw logo as well. That way it has those for reference. And then I'm just going to go over to create image, and we're going to make sure we have Nano Banana 2 selected. And now we're ready to generate a thumbnail. So I'll just click that to send it off. So this should have me holding the OpenClaw logo. So we're going to see how that turns out, but we're doing it here inside of YouMind, which I think is so cool. You just need this one tool. Okay, so now it's made us a thumbnail. You can see we've got a guy that looks like me holding the OpenClaw logo here. The hand's a little weird. I think that maybe we could generate it again and get a better hand, but it looks pretty good. And it looks like really me in the background. I'm blurred out because it's like a fancy camera effect, but you can see that the OpenClaw logo is crisp and easy to read. But there's a YouTube thumbnail in the style that I would post on my own channel, ready to go, done inside of YouMind. Okay, so that's two completely different workflows from the same tool. The one-shot version for when you need something fast, and then the custom version in your own style when you want full creative control, right? The difference is just how much you want to direct the process. Now look, these are demos, and in my real workflows, I spend way more time personalizing everything. Obviously, YouMind doesn't replace the real creative work. It replaces the tedious parts, the research, the organization, the first drafts. And that's where most of the time actually goes. If all you need is some deep research and some help with learning and things like that, NotebookLM is still excellent at that. No questions there. But if you want a workspace that helps you take source material and turn it into things you can actually publish, YouMind is doing that better than anything else that I've seen. The skill system alone makes it worth trying with the multi-step, multi-model skill. If you're a creator or a researcher or anyone who's turning raw information into published work on a regular basis, this is absolutely worth checking out. I highly recommend it. If you want to discover more AI tools that I've made videos on that I think are really cool, you should watch these videos right here. Thank you so much, guys, for watching all the way to the end of this video. I will see you in the next one.